back again in the Philippine Football League. We have some midweek action. It's a midweek match day this Wednesday. And yeah, two games today for all the Filipino football fans who are spoiled for choice because of how much PFL action is going on at the moment. The first game being Philippine Army against Tuloy FC. That will be kicking off specifically at 4 p.m. It will be Diego Cordero, myself, bringing that one to you alongside Natasha Alcaros dito. Natasha, how are you doing this scorching afternoon?
I'm doing well, and it's so exciting as well to have midweek action, more football coming your way, whether it's the Football League or as well with the futsal as well, which is happening at the moment. And for this matchup, it is very exciting to see an all-local 99% a local matchup between Tuloy and Army. It's going to be the old guards against the young blood.
See a cameo there from Miss Jihan in front of the camera, but welcome once again to some midweek action. For those of you who are wondering, these were the matches that I believe were cancelled by the typhoon last year in 2025, but it is quite literally and figuratively as well heating up here at the moment because of the weather and because of the table standings that are beginning to shape up. So we're beginning to see a few races here and there around the table. You have the title race, then you have that race for the sixth spot, and then you have the bottom portion who are trying to get one over the other so that they can get, the little bit of bragging rights that have, to say, you can be able to say that you're above the other team, you're above your rivals. So yeah, that's how this match shapes up. Of course, Philippine Army and Tuloy FC. Philippine Army coming off that loss to Stallion Laguna FC just a few days ago, actually, but they have another chance to bounce back. And for them, I'm sure this is a match that they deem as, one of their biggest chances at getting their first points of the season.
That's right. Army is still looking for their first 3 points, for their first win this season. But you could feel that in their last 3 games since this year started, they're finally finding the back of the net. So the silver lining with how this year has been going for the side of Philippine Army, they scored 2 goals against Tuloy during the first round when they met against each other. And though they lost by a big margin against Cebu, they scored 2 goals. And as you've mentioned, they lost to Stallion 5-1. But a beautiful, sensational goal by Ariola.
Yeah, and if you were to look at that scoreline without watching the game, you might not have known that that goal was actually scored when it was still 2-0 in favor of Stallion. So the game became 2-1, and they actually had to make Stallion work a little bit harder to get that result in the bag. So they're beginning to find the back of the net, and it's a silver lining, I guess, for them who have not had any points yet this season. So today is definitely a chance for them to build on something. And yeah, they already scored against Tuloy before, so there's something in this match for Philippine Army. However, you have to say that they are still pointless. How tough is it, Natasha, to be in a team such in low confidence and nothing's going their way really? How tough is it to be one of those players in green?
It's going to be, of course, very hard for Army. They're going to have to dig deep. When you lose game after game after game, at the end of the day, it just makes you that much more hungry to finally get that win, to have a breakthrough moment. And this could be a big chance for the side of Army. As we mentioned, Ariola, a player who has been in a good form for Army. He scored in back-to-back games, though they were in losses, and he is their top scorer. Very low-scoring team itong Army na to, but they've had 3 goals from Ariola, a goal from Celis, 1 from Gatenao, and 1 from Roy Kent Bidi, who are all in our starting 11 for today.
It's quite a light bench actually for Philippine Army, but that may also be because they've played a lot of games over the past week or so. But one player that is gonna start this afternoon is, as you already mentioned, Natasha, Ariola, who got that goal against Stallion, and it was a really good goal, I must say. So there is definitely something in this front line of Philippine Army that allows them to get goals here and there. And yeah, Ariola is probably their best source of goals. You do say if Philippine Army are to get anything from this match today, that Ariola will probably play a major part in that. But it's a team game, and you can't win football matches with just one person. He'll have to rely on his teammates, and it's up to them to step up to the occasion, because this is one of their games that, when they look at the calendar, there's a lot of PFL games for them that might be challenging against better opposition. But, they've beaten Tuloy in previous seasons. This is a very winnable game for Philippine Army.
And of course, they've had a couple of new signings, the like of Jomaray Sapal, who came from Aguilas Yumac, Darwin Regal, who's also on the starting today, who came from Manila Digger to really boost their squad. They've also had the same first 11 week in and week out in their last 3 fixtures. Coming into this game match day as well, no changes for the side of Philippine Army. So they're going to have that on their side as they come into this game. A little bit of continuity, familiarity, and chemistry among the team.
Now we'll take it to the coaching interview from Philippine Army. We'll get back to that coaching interview shortly, but moving on to the other side of the pitch this afternoon, we have Tuloy FC. Again, a bit similar in terms of Army. They lost their weekend game against a bigger club. They were actually away to Cebu, so they had to travel for that match, and it was a little bit of a humbling experience for them, losing 10-0. But looking at their season overall, there is some promise with this Tuloy team.
That's right. When you think of Tuloy, they're a team that scores goals. Whether it's teams at the bottom of the table or teams at the top of the table, once in a while they get their goals in. And it's going to be a big battle for the side of Tuloy. Most especially, today will be a test of how deep their bench is, how the squad rotation will be. As you've mentioned, they played in Cebu. If I'm not mistaken, they traveled the same day as that match day. And they lost a big defeat, 10-0, one of their biggest this season. And so having to play Saturday, now having to play midweek, you have players that are tired, a bit of fatigue. You have to rotate your squad. And for the side of Tuloy, you see a couple of new names in that first 11 as well. You have Antilio back as a goalkeeper, so the change from Tambilawan back to Antilio. You have the likes of Grizola, South will be there again. And a look at Vergara, one of their new signings that will be starting today. He did play with Southridge, now playing for Tuloy. He will be tested alongside their one and only foreigner, the first foreigner signing for the side of Tuloy, Marcos Toves, who will be playing that center back role. You also have the regular suspects like Lopango and Talam there on that first 11. The names that you feel that might be missed, Diaz and Nunez and Siron South, all these players will be on the bench for today, and no Halike will be available for this matchup.
Yeah, John Lloyd Halike is actually in the reserves for today's match. He's been given the rest, but this is a Tuloy team that will for sure be confident enough in beating Philippine Army because they did it already within 2026. Moving on to our player to watch, no surprise, we have gone with Cyril Saot. So fun fact about Cyril Saot, and actually both Saots, they're actually joint third for most PFL minutes across the entire league. So they have 1,080 minutes each. That's a testament really to how much trust Coach Taketomo Suzuki has put into them. And Cyril Saot, people might forget how young he is because of how much pro-level football he has already played. Natasha, what are your thoughts on Cyril Saot as a player?
You know, Cyril South is such an interesting player to watch. The way that he moves, the confidence that he brings when he has the ball. And not just that, how much he has changed this Tuloy side to really be a dangerous team. Moments when they attack, he has 6 goals to his name and 5 assists. So he's always involved. You can always rely on him when it comes to goal involvement, whether it's finding the back of the net or creating the plays or creating the passes. So he's definitely going to be a player to watch in this matchup, and Army should definitely have him covered because we know the talent and his capability when he does have that time and space.
Moving on to our coaching interview from Tuloy FC naman.
Good afternoon everyone, especially yung expectation namin today's game against Army. Same, we don't underestimate them, especially nakita namin yung game nila nung style yung team nila. So medyo okay po yung attacking and defending nila. Then sa amin naman, condition naman ng player, especially nung last time, medyo hirap din kami. Nung last Saturday against Cebu, then some of our players also may injury. So same, I think we will trust yung sub namin and let's see kung anong kaya gawin nila. So yun lang, thank you.
Will prepare naman si Philippine Army. So expect na makuha namin yung laro ngayon kasi nga in the previous game namin sa Tuloy is although na nakauna kami dahil sa yung previous namin is nabitin kami sa preparation dahil may mga duties pa. So ngayon we'll prepare kami para manalo.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let us welcome the teams of Philippine Army Football Club and Tuloy Football Club.
The two captains pictured there with your refereeing team. Our main referee would be Jesus Abogado, assisted by Relly Balila and Keith Nanyola. And the fourth official is going to be Chris Milcayabyab. Referee assessor is Ravelo Saluria, and the match commissioner is Paula Carmina Cervantes. There are your refereeing team for this afternoon with the two captains. Again, it's a matchup that has already happened this PFL season, quite recently actually. Tuloy winning that match 6-0, or 6-2 rather, 6 goals to 2. But people will not remember actually that Army actually scored first in that match. So I think that means that this match could still go either way, and it's going to be an exciting game nonetheless for the neutral.
Army taking on Tuloy, Philippine Army. I feel that in recent games, they've had small moments of great momentum that have turned into goals. They just need to find it more often, more consistently. And for the side of Tuloy, you see a closer look at Talam giving the instructions to his team. He was listed as a coach or one of the coaching staff in the first leg of the season, and during the transfer window has been added on as a player, and so they're going to have a leader on the pitch for them, especially as they are dealing with injuries and players tired, of course, from their travels, and a rotated squad, a chance for the other players of Tuloy to get more minutes and also show what they're capable of.
Tuloy FC currently sitting at 8th place. They are 6 points safe of 9th place, but they are 10 points adrift of 7th place. So they're in that part of the table where they're quite safe, but they can't really challenge for anything above them. Meanwhile, Philippine Army are still rock bottom. But again, this is a match that they will deem as more winnable compared to the other fixtures we have in the PFL, as kickoff is only moments away. You see here pictured, it will be Philippine Army to start things off. Philippine Army in their all-white jerseys, while Tuloy will be in their blue shirts and black shorts. Philippine Army going from left to right, and Tuloy going the other way. You might hear some drums that's coming from the other part of Rizal Memorial Stadium, but from the baseball side, as there is also baseball games going on. So pag may baseball at football fans tayo dyan, you can watch baseball in the morning, then watch PFL at the night. But anyway, kickoff. I think we're just waiting for the 4 o'clock mark. Still 3:59 there. It is 4 o'clock, and we have kickoff. Philippine Army to start things off. And Philippine Army off that 5-1 loss to Stallion, while Tuloy were off that 10-0 loss to Cebu. So it's bounce back day for both of these sides. And both of them played in that weekend that just passed. So you might see a little bit of tired legs out there, or you might see the opening part of this match slightly slower. But there is a reason for that because of how recently these two teams played. Early cross is put away from Kent Talam, who's listed as a forward, but looks like he's going to be playing as one of the center backs for Tuloy this afternoon.
Usually a position filled out by Cyron Saud, who is currently at the bench. And that's also one thing that Kent Talam brings on the side for Tuloy. Such a versatile player, a high understanding of the game, able to slot into different positions when needed.
And because he was a member of the coaching staff of Tuloy, you do think that he will be more familiar with the system that Tuloy are trying to implement. He'll be there at center back alongside Toves, I believe, and that's the only foreigner player of Tuloy. I believe he's from the Northern Mariana Islands, which is a football program that I believe Tuloy actually have a partnership with. So that is the reason why they were able to sign him. Philippine Army, though, going the other way, crossing opportunity, but not for the first time. It's Kent Talam to get in the way. Second cross is cleared by Toves, and Tuloy are going to escape that pressure. But early pressure here coming from Philippine Army. However, Tuloy will now go the other way. There's a chance here. Goalkeeper Bedia off his line. Match just starting to speed up a little bit. Both sides just feeling out the other. Ariola goes for the long shot. He is probably really high on confidence because of the last long shot that he took against Stallion. He'll get the ball once again, but there's a foul. That is Grizola. Usually plays as a defender. Looks like he'll be a left winger this afternoon.
A shift in the lineup for the side of Tuloy. Dayan will be playing as that left back position, and Grizola giving the go-ahead to play more attacking position for the side of Tuloy. Taking up that left wing. Lupango usually plays left, also now playing a more central attacking role in this matchup. So a lot of changes and shifts for the side of Tuloy FC.
And the fact that you have versatile players here, it gives me the impression actually that these are really intelligent players because they are able to fill in more than one position. Also probably a sign of good coaching. And it's no surprise that they've been trusted given what they've already shown this season. Tuloy, they're in that bottom part of the table, but they're probably the happiest team in that group of clubs because of the fact that they're on 9 points, and today is a chance for them to go on 12. Philippine Army winning back the ball. They've been doing that quite a number of times already.
There's an aerial challenge on the further end, and Aguila does well.
Early pressure from Philippine Army. They actually played on the Sunday while Tuloy played on the Saturday, but they're not showing any signs of fatigue just yet. Still is early on. I think they want revenge probably for that 6-2 loss they had to Tuloy not too long ago. Tuloy actually struggled to remember them crossing the half. Volley is taken, but that's going to drop straight to Antilio. That is the game's first shot on target, and it comes from Philippine Army. You
gotta love the confidence as well of Army. The first few minutes of this game. Taking their chances from distance.
And they did score that long shot against Stallion last weekend, but when these two teams last met, it was actually also a long shot from Roy Kent Bedia from way downtown that found the back of the net. That was how Philippine Army went 1-0 up against Tuloy last time around. However, they still ended up losing 6-2. It was actually a hat-trick from Halike that day, who's not involved today. So there is some rotation that Philippine Army could exploit. Here they are once again down the left. Cross comes in looking for an Army player. It's going to arrive at one. Back in. Here's Ariola. What a save from Antilio. Chance still on. It's actually cleared by Toves, but that was a warning shot from Ariola. He is their best source of goals, and there's more evidence of that.
Fantastic ball movement from Philippine Army. Left-hand side, finding the player on the opposite end. And Ariola, the confidence to take the shot, forcing a big save from Antilio.
Long throw came in from Philippine Army. Unsuccessful. Now Tuloy have the chance to go the other way. Great footwork there. Of course, it's Cyril Saud. He marked as the player to watch. It looks like he'll be playing a role up front, actually. And there is no Halike, so there's going to be some filling in this afternoon. Chance here for Tuloy, but the offside flag is up. I think Philippine Army will be happy with the way that they've started this game.
Feel that they have been the more threatening of the two teams. It was just an extra tug there. That's why the foul was called in that replay. Army having more of the possession, taking advantage of their physicality and connecting with their passes up on top.
Tuloy still unable to really show that side of their game that we know so well. And Philippine Army establishing the early possession of this match. Next step will be penetrating the final third. But this is good possession nonetheless from Philippine Army.
You also see Tuloy playing a very low block.
Foul there from Ariola. It's going to give a chance for Tuloy to step up. Don't usually see them playing this deep, but again, there are some tired legs out there. And Tuloy's next game is actually against Juan Tegig, so there's going to be some eye on that match from Coach Taketomo Suzuki.
This is definitely where the game management plays a big picture.
Offside called against Lupango, but as you were saying, Natasha, game management is going to become a factor, not just for Tuloy, but actually for all the teams because of how congested the PFL schedule is starting to become.
Of course, especially for the side of Tuloy. Had to play away just this Saturday, playing the midweek game, then playing another big game.
Foul there called against Grizola. He doesn't think that there was a foul, but referee Jesus Abogado calling it nonetheless. But as you were saying, Natasha, Tuloy, they had to travel to Cebu, and you said it earlier, they traveled to Cebu on the day itself of their game, and I'm pretty sure that takes it out of you in terms of fatigue. Chance here for Army, unable to control that pass. That was Nico Palacio in the final third. You do say if he controlled that pass, he would have had a good opportunity there.
Great switch of play again. Pinpoint delivery from the left, finding the runner on that right-hand side.
Si John Celis ang nakapasa niya, but there's another giveaway. Chance once again for Philippine Army, but they couldn't control it in the final third. Tuloy, they're getting a few warning signs here that they can't be too second best to this match. This was actually how the first match between these two started. And Army did go ahead, but at that point of that season, or at that point of the match in the season, They hadn't played for quite some time, so around the second half, they just gassed out a little bit. But they are fitter this afternoon because they finally played a number of matches in quick succession.
That's right. The first time these two teams went against each other was the first game of this year, this 2026. Match fitness definitely played a factor after teams haven't played in over 1 to 2 months.
Definitely tough to get back up to speed because we had that Christmas holiday break for the SEA Games. Then we also had the small break in January. Chance once again for Philippine Army to get forward. That's headed back to Antilio, who didn't play against Cebu, but he's been given back the number 1 position for this afternoon. Grizola looking for the switch. It's gonna find a teammate. Is it? It's gonna go out for a throw-in, but good passing range there from Grizola.
Philippine, of course, crucial touch.
Long shots taken, but that doesn't trouble the goalkeeper, Mark Anthony Badia. Game just settling down now after 10 minutes, still scoreless. Again, it's Diego Cordero and Natasha Alquiros Dato calling this one for you. Natasha, it looks like Tuloy might be a little bit lenient as well of possession. They're allowing Philippine Army to build up. And here they come. Ariola loses out to Toves. Saot, that's Cyril Saot. Cyron is on the bench.
Usually, the game of Philippine Army versus Tuloy, we're used to Tuloy having more of that possession, playing it short. You see, this time around, they're playing more direct.
Cyril Saot shooting from range, deflection. He's gonna put it out for a corner. First corner for Tuloy. Cyril Saot has scored from distance already. I remember a goal he scored against Kaya. So you don't want to be too careful. There's Coach Taketomo Suzuki in your picture. Set pieces from Tuloy do tend to be played short. Let's see if they use that option. They have a target in Kent Talam.
We have Kent Talam and Toves. They're two center backs inside the box.
Sent in, but the cross is initially met by an Army player. It's gonna come back in. Tuloy work it short. Eventually, maybe one pass too many. Philippine Army are going to try for the counterattack. But Tuloy able to get back in numbers. Long switch there. Is it going to find Ariola? Linesman on the opposite side says that went out. Sun just starting to make the field a little bit more scorching. Do wonder if there is a water break scheduled for this match.
Something to take into consideration as the weather has changed drastically.
Philippine Army with some possession in the penalty box. Cross shot took a deflection, so it's an easy save for Antilio. But another good moment there from Philippine Army. They're starting to penetrate Tuloy's backline a little bit more.
They have been looking dangerous when they are in the attacking third. Had a couple of chances.
Tuloy down the right. Pass in behind. Here's Lupango. Back inside. The shot's taken. They couldn't hit it well. That might be the first snippet we've seen, though, of that 1-2 play that we usually see from Tuloy.
It was great ball movement from Tuloy on that right-hand side. Really able to find those spaces in between.
Army once again enjoying a lot of action down that left-hand side. Toves. He's being asked by Kent Talam, who's also his coach, to calm things down. Oh, but it's actually a giveaway from Talam. Chance for Philippine Army, no offside, and it's a goal in the 14th minute. And just like they did last time these two teams met, Philippine Army are going to go ahead. And that was Tuloy shooting themselves in the foot because it was from their possession, but it was a good finish nonetheless.
And the high press of Philippine Army definitely paying off. A pass from Talam taken away by the Army in the attacking third. They had the numbers, they had Palacios on the right-hand side. He's been looking dangerous already. Timed that run so perfectly. Blasted at the back of the net. And though Antillo tried to come out big, Palacio able to find the first goal in this game and giving Army the lead. And you feel deservingly so for how they've played in the first 15 minutes of the match. They have been on that attacking end. They have been more hungry.
And the thing about that as well is Tuloy had their warning signs already. That wasn't the first time that Army had an opening in this first 16 minutes or so. Nico Palacio being clinical when it mattered most. Before this game started, I checked Transfermarkt and Philippine Army. They only had 4 different goal scorers, and their main source of goals was Ariola. But it's good to see that another player has actually stepped up and converted a chance. And Philippine Army are going to say this is our biggest chance yet this season for 3 points. They had a similar scenario last time around, but there's no Halike this afternoon. It's a rotated squad for Tuloy. Real opportunity for Philippine Army to do something. And they're actually playing good possession here. Role reversal between the two teams. Maybe one pass too many there though. Urakoy looking for Lupango, but miscommunication. Philippine Army, it's about game management now. You're in such a good position. Can you maintain it for the full 90? Again, they show promise in spells of matches, but a football match is 90 minutes. That's a really long time to sustain a good performance. Can they do it this afternoon?
And Army showing again just that spell that they've been having throughout their last 3 outings. Finally finding the back of the net. Now Tuloy on the attack.
Grizola, Lupango looking for a switch but couldn't get enough elevation. Good pass from Celis. Here's Ariola. Center back's afraid to step out. To the left, here is Celis. Ariola just couldn't take it down well, but goal scorer Palacio on the ball. There's some confidence about this Philippine Army side.
I feel that their passes have been a bit more crisp as compared to Tuloy. The decision making as well on the attacking third. Palacio has been looking dangerous on the right-hand side. Ariola has been coming down to collect and string passes together as well.
Regala with the long throw. Couldn't find any real opportunity. Long shot once again is taken, and it's just wide.
Darwin Regala has also been such a great addition for the side of Army. During the first half of the season, he was with Manila Digger. During the transfer window, now with Philippine Army. Playing at that right back. Also has that long throw to him. So giving another dynamic way of attack for the side of Philippine Army.
You have Darwin Regala from Manila Digger. Then you also have Jomari Sapal on the bench who came from Aguilas. So they've been able to be productive in the transfer window, which actually closes today. Today, I believe, is the last day of the transfer window. Some big signings. One actually will be unveiled later in our second match. For those of you who are curious. Mistake here though from Army. Lupango, Cyril South one-on-one against the goalkeeper, and it's a brilliant save from Bedia. Tuloy, they've been asleep this whole match, but that was a chance to draw level. And the Philippine Army goalkeeper bails out his back line.
That was a fantastic save from Bedia. He comes out big, had to quickly react to that. It was a 1v1 situation.
Well, Cyril Saud, such a big opportunity. He'll be wondering if he'll be able to get another one like that, because it's only so rare that you're one-on-one against the goalkeeper. They have a corner though. Ball is sent in. It's a very high one against the sun. Met by a Tuloy player just about. Dalam trying to find Cyril Saud. It gets to him just about. Shots taken, and it's another brilliant save. It's turning into a duel between those two. And for the second time in a row, Mark Anthony Bedia coming to his team's rescue.
That was coming from a corner play opportunity. They did play it long. Tuloy did well to keep the ball in play. Finding Cyril Saud. He takes his chance. But another fantastic save from Mark Bedia.
Pressure remains from Tuloy. They want this equalizer. Corner is quite low, but it's not cleared. Urakoy back into the danger area. Lupango has a chance, and third time's a charm for Tuloy. They get that equalizer. Mark Anthony Bedia couldn't do anything this time. And after a poor start, Tuloy are back level.
Game on, says Tuloy. Able to convert from a corner opportunity. A couple of missed clearances. They find Lupango. Takes it first time. Goes near post. A fantastic
Goal
finish.
for Tuloy FC.
Make this game
By player
level.
number 11, Justin
I feel that Army
Lupango.
have been better when it comes to open play, able to bring the ball up. But Tuloy showing a different aspect of their game. They haven't been playing so well when it came to open play situations, but on set piece opportunities from a corner opportunity, looked dangerous and able to convert.
They do say that 30% of all football goals are from set piece scenarios. So sometimes it doesn't matter if you've been asleep in open play. If you take advantage of your set pieces, you can still be clinical in matches. And that's what Tuloy have done here. Really good goal from Lupango. And the goalkeeper, Mark Anthony Bedia, will be saying that, you know, I bailed you guys out twice. But the third time around, he wasn't helped by his defense. Here they come again, though, the goal scorer. Cyril's out. Too much traffic, but he keeps the ball before it's eventually cleared by Philippine Army. This match is wide open. Here in the 23rd minute, goals from Nico Palacio and Justin Lupango. For those of you who missed it. Again, this is only our first match today. Later at 7 p.m., another match, Manila Digger against Don Bosco Garelli. We'll be seeing a few new signings in that match. Here we have a water break being called by the referee due to the heat. Been a very good opening 20 minutes, I must say, Natasha.
That's right. And you love that about a game when it's back-to-back action, when it's an open game, chances for both sides, and one apiece for both Army and Tuloy. First 15 minutes, we saw a very strong outing and a strong opening for the side of Philippine Army, finding themselves in the attacking third on numerous occasions. And at the 16th minute, able to score the opening goal after taking advantage of a mishap of a pass from the center back, trying to find one of the midfield players. Army showing that they can do that high press as well, win the ball in the attacking third and convert. Tuloy, on the other hand, felt like a wake-up call after Army were able to score that goal. And since the opening goal of Army, it's been all Tuloy on the attack. They were hungry and quick to find the equalizer.
Goal from Justin Lupango, who's playing as a forward in this match, means that Tuloy have scored 20 goals from their forwards this season, with 7 different goal scorers before this game started. So they're able to distribute goals across multiple sources, which is a good thing for them to have, so that they're not just relying on 1 or 2 sources. Their top scorer actually not being available or being rested this afternoon. But Philippine Army will be feeling hard done by, because if I recall, not too long ago, they actually had a chance to go 2-0 ahead with a long shot from, I think it was John Celis, that went just wide. So it's a fine margin game, which makes it all the more entertaining. Still very early on in this match, so anything can still happen.
And as you mentioned, for a neutral fan, this is one of the games that you will be rooting for. Both these teams, a local lineup, if you might say so. A lot of homegrown players playing in this matchup today. As we've mentioned, the old guards of Philippine Army played a big part in the history of Philippine football as a whole. Were very dominant in the UFL era, most especially in 2010, 2011. The only team with a fully homegrown lineup. And for the side of Tuloy, it cannot be said enough how they're able to have an elite sports development and at the same time a social advocacy, and how they're able to use and empower these players through football. Such a holistic development for the side of Coach Taketama Suzuki.
Switch of play here is going to find John Celis straight at the goalkeeper. That was another chance for Philippine Army to put themselves back in the lead. We're actually going to see an early substitution from Philippine Army, but we'll await confirmation of who's coming on and who's coming off. Cyril Saot the other way. Urakoy 1-2, looking for Saot, couldn't find him. Match just opening up now.
See a replay again later. It was a fantastic curling pass from Palacio to find Celis on the opposite end.
Philippine Army giving away the ball again. Here's the goal scorer Lupango. Both sides able to have spells of possession, making it an entertaining affair. It's going to be number 55, Jomar Sapol, who's going to check in shortly for Army. Here is Lupango though, down the left, taking on his defender. Couldn't beat him, and he loses out possession. Possession staying with Tuloy. They are a team that enjoy possession more than not having it. Celis has been causing trouble for Tuloy, trying to combine with Gatenao, but pass just slightly behind him. I'm interested to see who Jomar Sapol is going to come on for. Lupango, Urakoy, still with Tuloy. Possession just pinballing between the two teams at the moment. Good play from Tuloy. That was Vergara taking the ball under possession, but doesn't lead to anything. This game entering a precarious state now. Either side have the opportunity to take control 30 minutes in. Palacio dueling with Lupango, the two goal scorers. He wins a foul, and that's going to signal the substitution, or it's not actually free kick taken quickly, but offside flag is up, and that will signal the substitution. It's going to be Sapal in for Soriano.
Substitution for Philippine Army. Player number 6, Gelson Soriano, is replaced by player number 55, Chomaray Sapa.
Do wonder if that's tactical or injury based. But nonetheless, Sapal is a good addition. Again, as you mentioned, Natasha, straight from Aguilas, now with Philippine Army. Talam under pressure, but good bounce pass from Vergara. Lupango on the ground, but Tuloy continue on. Foul there from the captain. I think that's Villaseñor.
That was a clear foul there from Villaseñor. Captain just clipping the player of Tuloy. This is from distance, but no player near the ball to signal who will take this. Cyril South steps up to the plate.
Looks like Cyril South gearing up for a cross. There is a Tuloy player receiving treatment on the sideline at the moment, so they're momentarily down to only 10 players, but they have a chance to create an opportunity here in front of goal. Ball is sent in by Saot, too close to the goalkeeper, who instantly starts a counter. Again, Tuloy are down to 10 players at the moment. Might be a good time to take advantage if you're Philippine Army. Celis looking for Ariola. It's overhit. It's actually Toves, who's usually at center back, receiving treatment.
Not a good sign for the side of Tuloy. They do have possession at the moment.
And he's been on the sideline for a good 3 minutes now. Still receiving treatment. Cyril's out looking for a teammate down wide. Good defending from Army.
See as well the in-game adjustments that Tuloy have made. Rakoy now playing more central attacking role. Saot playing a deeper role in this as at midfielder.
Toves is back on the pitch, so it looks like he'll be fit to continue. Possession with Philippine Army. Philippine Army going down the flank. They've had possession for quite some time now. Let's see if they make use of it. Ariola trying to combine with his fellow teammates. Ball stays with Army. Now they're down the left. Ariola looking for the switch. Too close to a blue shirt. And Lupango is going to calm things down. here go Tuloy. Cyril Saot combining once again. Chance for Tuloy. But the pass looking for a teammate was too overhit. That was Gobuyan with that attempted Trivela pass. Where couldn't get the execution.
Feel a shift as well in how Tuloy have been playing, especially since they've made the switch of Lupango playing back on that left-hand side.
Celis is not offside. Has a chance here. Celis! Good save from Antilio. Again, Antilio didn't play that big game against Cebu, but he'll be proving himself this afternoon with this performance so far. There's another player down for Tuloy. So the referee's going to have to stop the game. But they're having a lot of joy down that left-hand side if you're Philippine Army. There is the replay. Shot from Celis. Angle slightly tight. And he's on his weaker foot, so it probably favored the goalkeeper.
Second time that we are seeing a player down for Tuloy. Of course, this is your Philippine Football League 2025-2026 season. A doubleheader Wednesday. Midweek matchups for the fans here at the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium. Don Bosco Gardelli will be taking on Manila Digger later on at 7 p.m. At the moment, it's 1-1 between Tuloy and Philippine Army. Goals by Lupango and Palacio.
John Rocky Grisola is going to step out for Tuloy at the moment, so they're down to 10. Here's Ariola. Shot, but the referee calling a handball. Again, Ariola, he is probably the Army player that they want chances to fall to.
He just couldn't get that clean contact on the ball.
The referee is telling him to step off the pitch. Not too sure why.
But Jimwell Ariola, since this 2026 and the few matches that Army have had, his technique has been put on a full display, showing that he can score great goals given the opportunity, time, and space.
Mukhang may dugo sa ilong ni Jimwell Ariola, but it looks like he will be fine after receiving a little bit of treatment. No foul there called by the referee. Actually, he calls advantage. Philippine Army down to 10 men at the moment before the referee allows Ariola back on. He's going to play with some tissue in his nose. As you mentioned, Natasha, so much football action for PFL fans to enjoy. A lot of futsal action as well. Our Pinay 5 just concluded their match against Vietnam. Unfortunately, they lost 2-0, but they also won yesterday 1-0 against Myanmar. So they're still well in their campaign. Then, of course, we have the Futsal Liga that is coming around really shortly. So much action. Again, we also have the Women's Asian Cup that will kick off really shortly. I believe the team are already in Australia. Natasha, I'm sure you have fond memories of the last Asian Cup that we played. But here come Army. Cross is sent in, and Antilio misjudging that. Chance is still on for Army before it's eventually cleared. Long shot is deflected. And deflected with a hand, according to the referee. So it's going to be a free kick to Philippine Army.
Just in time, Ariola able to get back on the pitch. Army with all 11 on. A couple of choices who to take this opportunity.
Good spot there from referee Jesus Abogado for the handball. Looks like Ariola is shaping up to shoot straight from his treatment. You can see a little bit of tissue in his nose. But I'm sure if he scores this, he won't care how he looks. Ariola on target. Really good save from Michael Antillo Jr., who's bailed out his Tuloy defense more than once in this first half.
Was well taken from Ariola. An even better save from Antillo. Had to tip it over the bar. It's a corner for Army.
Corner was taken, but it was really low, and it's gonna spark a counterattack for Tuloy. Here's Cyril Saud. Just about keeps it in. Looks for a player back inside, but too much traffic. And it's gonna be a free kick to Philippine Army. Just 5 minutes now of regulation time until halftime. Either side probably have reasons to be happy and reasons to be frustrated. 1-1 is the scoreline. Goals from Palacio and Lupango.
It's been back and forth action between both Philippine Army and Tuloy. But you feel that so far it's really Army that's had the edge and more of the chances.
And if it weren't for Antillo, Army could be ahead. John Celis drifting inside, looking for the through pass. Couldn't find a white shirt. But they're having moments, Philippine Army. Oh, what a touch from Cyril Saot to take it out of the sky. Here's Lupango. Back to Saot, who's through on goal. Saot. Second touch. Just couldn't get it in control. Next goal really could come from either side, Natasha.
We're also seeing a very different style of play from Tuloy. They are playing much more direct, sending the balls up high. And even scoring from a set-piece opportunity.
Long shot is taken, but it's not on target. Mark Anthony Batia was just scrambling for a second there.
For the side of Army, I feel that where they have been taking advantages of moments is really winning the ball in the mid-third and quickly transitioning those into dangerous attacks.
Yep, that's precisely where they got their goal from. They got a turnover and they were clinical. Philippine Army with possession of the ball. The match ball, of course, provided by Sports Tribe, which is the official match ball provider of the Philippines Football League. Thank you as well to Sport Radar, to LBC, our sponsors for this afternoon. Philippine Army with possession. Here's Ariola. 1-2. Give and go from Army. Shots taken on target, but again, too close to Antillo. Lupango is fouled quite evidently by Darwin Regala.
Regala on that foul, as you mentioned, to Lupango, just to slow things down, not allowing Tuloy to quickly get that counter.
Lupango unable to keep that in.
Closer look again at the chance earlier from Celis. Taking up a lot of space in the attacking third, whether it's on the left-hand side or the right. But Ariola has been instrumental with stringing together the passes. Player who once played for Green Archers. Baka di mo pa yun naabutan.
Actually, a really fun fact. was that I was part of the Green Archers under-9 team. But here come Army, chance for the second, and they go ahead. And for only the third time this whole season, Philippine Army are leading a football match once again. And really, it was a goal from almost nothing. Tuloy just falling asleep. The cross, finding an open man. And Antilio, he's done so much for Tuloy, but there's nothing he can do about
There
that.
will be a minimum of 2 minutes of
And what a goal
additional
from
time.
Gatenao. The pass from the left-hand side. Look at that cross, just to perfection. Gatenao didn't have to break a stride. He takes it first time inside of the foot, looping ball, back of the net, and they have the lead right before halftime. It's the perfect time to score just before the break.
They were ahead earlier on in this match, and they got pegged back. They were actually ahead when these two teams met earlier this month, and they were pulled back as well.
For Philippine
Third time they're ahead against Tuloy this season. You'll be hoping, if you're a Philippine Army player, that for once they're actually going to maintain a lead, because they haven't been able to do it at all this season. But it's an ideal time to go ahead right before halftime. It would also be an unideal time to concede, but chance there for Tuloy is offside, so nothing's going to happen. I think Philippine Army would probably say that across the whole season, this has been their best half of football. And it's coming after a few decent performances in terms of goal scoring. And they've continued that this afternoon.
Army also, after scoring in that 16th minute, they looked most vulnerable right after scoring a goal. And true enough, Tuloy were able to pounce on that, scoring at the 21st minute. So just a few minutes, 5 minutes after Army scored, Tuloy were able to score. Now Army scored again at the 45th minute. They just have to hold on until halftime to get that advantage coming into the second half.
And that goal from Gatenao is going to make the team talk of head coach Ronel Henner much more lighthearted, but I'm sure a lot of that team talk will also be about maintaining the lead. For Coach Taketomo Suzuki, on the other hand, he'll be frustrated that it's not equal at halftime after they did well to pull themselves back onto level scoring. They're going to have to do it again in the second half.
You feel that our Army, with their passes, it's just been that much more crisp. It's been pinpoint deliveries from the left to the right-hand side. That's really where they have been the most dangerous. Balls coming from the left and finding those open players on the right-hand side.
Tuloy they're the best team in first half stoppage time in terms of goal scoring. They have 4 goals in this part of the match across the whole season, but they're not going to have a chance to do that in this match because the referee has blowed for halftime. It is 2-1 in favor of Philippine Army. Goals from Nico Palacio and Joshua Gatenao before Lupango also scored for Tuloy. But they are in the ascendancy, Philippine Army. And for the first time in this season, they're actually leading at halftime. This is a chance for them to get all 3 points, Natasha.
Definitely so. It's been a fantastic first half. Great action between Army and Tuloy. Do stick around, and more football action coming your way in just a bit.
Halftime here. It's an exciting match between Philippine Army and Tuloy FC. Philippine Army winning 2-1 goals from Nico Palacio and Joshua Gatenao. Tuloy initially got back on level scoring with a goal from Justin Lupango. However, in the closing moments of the first half, they went behind to Philippine Army, who have put in a performance so far that might justify their lead. So they've actually played really well, and they've had chances even to score more than 2 goals. Here are the highlights from the first half. Michael Antilio really busy for Tuloy, and yeah, Philippine Army have shown a lot of promise in the first half. There's the goal that put them ahead initially before they were pegged back by Tuloy, but it was a really good goal nonetheless for Philippine Army. No offside there, and it's a clinical finish from Nico Palacio. Tuloy responded well with a goal from Lupango, a near post volley, and that made it 1-1. So it was an interesting game in the first half. However, as you see the scoreline, Philippine Army were able to regain the lead. And yeah, this is for sure Philippine Army's biggest chance so far at getting 3 points, their first points in the whole season so far. Natasha, do you think that Philippine Army can maintain this for another 45 minutes?
I feel that they can. It all depends on how they play this second half. They've done so well throughout the first half, scoring from 2 different chances, and they were so dominant in chances in the attacking third. They were able to win the ball in the middle of the park for the first goal, quickly transition that into a chance, and the second one was from a build-up play from the back, a team effort goal to really make this a 2-1. Of course, you cannot underestimate a team like Tuloy that have made these halftime substitutions to really strengthen their squad. And the Army will definitely have to be laser focused in the second half if they finally want to bag in their first 3 points.
2 changes from Tuloy FC coming on are Noti Nunez and John Henson Diaz, so 2 players who usually start their matches. And I think that's a sign from Coach Taketomo Suzuki and his coaching staff that they want to regain the lead in the second half. Again, this is a fixture that already happened this season, and Tuloy were dominant winners in the end. Noti Nunez, by the way, looks like he's gone blonde as he has changed his hairstyle, but Noti Nunez, a crucial player also for Tuloy.
For Tuloy FC. Player number 9, Gabriel Vergara.
Could be Gabriel Vergara checking out,
Denmark Oracoy. And player number 13, John Aguila.
as well as Oracoy and Aguila.
10, Harry Nunez.
Nunez getting involved right away.
And player number 12, John Diaz.
Gamboa also being introduced.
So 3 crucial changes for the side of Tuloy. As we all know, Nunez and Diaz, 2 players that are usually anchoring and manning that midfield. They usually control the tempo of this game. They connect the back line to the attacking players. And it was very evident when they were out of it in this first half of this game so far. And you also have the likes of Gamboa now being introduced to the lineup of Tuloy, a usual starter.
Ariola with the header, but it's straight to the goalkeeper. I mentioned earlier that both Saots are joint third for most minutes in the PFL. That was before this match started. Before this match started, Noti Nunez was right behind them by 5 minutes. So he was the player in the PFL who was 5th for most minutes, and he's back on the pitch for the second half of this match, which, you know, it's a second half that's for sure going to have chances for both teams if it's anything like the first, and nothing about this 2-1 scoreline is conclusive.
That's right. The whole first half between Tuloy and Philippine Army, it's been an open game, back-to-back action. You have a feeling the second half will be just the same.
Celis is going to try to get on the end of this, but good anticipation from Michael Antilio Jr., who's also had a good performance in that first half, but he's quite unfortunate that he's had to pick the ball out from his net on 2 separate occasions. John Celis, Army looking to start the second half the way they ended the first. That second goal of theirs coming right before the halftime team talk. I mentioned before that Tuloy are usually really good scoring in the first half stoppage time. They have 4 goals in that part of their matches, but it's actually Army who flipped the script and scored in that first half stoppage time. That is why they are ahead for the second time in this match, and only the 3rd time this season. Actually, thinking about it now, the only times Army have led this whole season have both been against Tuloy.
And since the window, of course, we've also seen a very different Army. Much more competitive side to them. the silver linings from their first 3 outings this year really proved to be an indicator.
They didn't have an ideal first round, but they've had a productive transfer window, which, for those of you who aren't aware, the transfer window of the PFL actually closes today. So there's still time for the teams to get in some last-minute signings.
Throughout the whole first round until November, December of 2025, Philippine Army only scored 1 goal all throughout 8 of the 8 games that they had. When this year started, they've already scored. They lost to Tuloy 6-2, but they scored 2 goals. They lost to Cebu, but they scored 2 goals. They lost to Stallion, but they scored a goal. So you could see, as you mentioned, in short moments, able to connect. Now just trying to do it more consistently.
Ariola in the opposition penalty box couldn't make it stick. Philippine Army looks like they've brought in Regala, and he does have that long throw, so it's one of their best avenues towards creating chances.
For the side of Army, they've only made 1 substitution so far. It was an early substitution. Talsor Soriano had to step out, and in his place was Jomaray Sapal, one of their 2 new signings.
There was Sapal winning back possession. If Philippine Army are to get points today, I'm sure Sapal and the likes of Regala, Ariola will have to have good performances in this second half. Again, the second half just starting. For those of you who missed it, Gatenao and Palacio scoring for Army, while Lupango scored for Tuloy. It's Diego Cordero alongside Natasha Alquiros Dato for both matches today. Again, at 7 p.m. we have Manila Digger against Don Bosco Guerrero United, so stick around for that one as well. So much action for Filipino football fans to enjoy, because this weekend we also have PFL action. And yeah, if you're bored of club football, we also have international futsal and women's football action coming up very shortly. Here come Philippine Army. Ariola looking for a through pass, couldn't find it. But again, Philippine Army are just showing some fluidity going forward, and it's been really an improvement from the type of attacking that they've showed in the first round.
They're really just showing how quick they can be in transition once they win the ball. And in that attacking third, being able to connect passes between Roy Kent, Bedia, Ariola, trying to set up Palacio, but good physicality from the Tuloy backline to just clear that one out of danger.
Tuloy taking a risk by leaving 2 players on the halfway line. Corner is going to come in from Philippine Army. It's really low. Very low, but it's still in play. Actually, the linesman calling goal kick, I believe. Antilio actually might have taken a hit from that. He's holding his head. Michael Antilio Jr. was well in that first half. A lot of saves. And if Tuloy are to get to any points from today's match, I'm sure Antilio will also receive a lot of credit. By the way, another one of Tuloy signings this transfer window has been another goalkeeper in Christian Tambilawan. Not playing today, but a good addition nonetheless, straight from the University of the East. So it's good to see that UAAP players are making the jump to the PFL. Tuloy unable still to show their usual fluid football. I'm actually forgetting to remember if they've actually crossed the halfway line point in this second half. It's been Army controlling things so far.
It feels that Army started the first half really well and were rewarded getting a goal early on. In the second half, Army again have been the team on the attack. Tuloy taking some time to readjust again. There's been a lot of movement for their team. Again, they've made 3 halftime substitutions.
Again, top scorer for Tuloy, John Lloyd Halike, is not available for selection this afternoon. And they'll probably be missing him. And that's a mistake. Here's Celis. Takes the shot early. Antilio wasn't expecting it, but he makes the save. Celis showing pace against Kent Talam. That's another warning sign for Tuloy that Philippine Army are in the ascendancy.
Look at Army putting on that high press again. This time around, Tuloy able. Spoke too soon at that moment. Eventually, Army
Philippine Army will probably be feeling that this is their best sustained performance so far this season. Again, they've had glimpses and spells in matches where they've showed promise, but in terms of keeping it for a long spell, it hasn't happened too often this season. This is probably their best performance throughout a long period of time. But there is still a lot of minutes left. Here come Tuloy. Cyril South through on goal. What a save, but he's gonna get a tap in. And it's 2-2. And just as I was saying that Army have performed well, they fall asleep at the back. And Cyril South, the player we marked to watch, punishes Philippine Army.
You have to give it to Badia. It was a great first save, but the second ball just fell perfectly for them. Look at that. First save from Badia. The ball falling back again to South. But what a pass from that left-hand side. Pango giving it just right behind that defensive line. And South, the space to run into it. He takes it first time, forces a great save. Second ball falls to him. And the second time around, no mistake there. Finds the back of the net.
Cyril South is the Tuloy player with the most minutes so far in the PFL. And there was an example of why, because he is able to provide creativity, but this afternoon he's provided a goal as well. And we're back to where we started. Entertaining match, takes another plot twist. And we have, I believe we still have 35 minutes of action left to play. Anyone's game now, it's up to someone to take control of this match. Tuloy will fancy themselves with the momentum. They've had a comeback victory against Army already this season. Army, the performance probably justifies a good result. Match can go either way at this point. Great switch from Ariola. Here's Celis. Very good tackle from Grizola.
It was definitely well timed from Grizola. Seen moments of great switch of play. Let's see better defending as well from the Tuloy backline. Gamboa putting on that pressure. The left-hand side, Lupango really just has been so speedy.
Another shaky moment from build-up here for Tuloy, and Army win it back. Cross, unable to find a teammate, but there's been moments for Tuloy when they've tried to build up that they haven't been able to make the ball stick. It's a defense that's probably low on confidence after conceding 2 goals today and conceding 10 against Cebu on the weekend. Again, Philippine Army, they can't be discouraged by the fact that the score is level again because they have had chances, and there's another giveaway.
It also leads to why this game has been so open. Errors at the back can easily be punished.
Kent Talam thought that was out for a corner, but the referee, Jesus Abogado, saying otherwise. Last corner kick from Army was too low, but Another chance for a better delivery. Tuloy still taking the risk of leaving two players on the halfway line, despite the fact that the scoreline is already level.
That's how they were able to get that second goal as well. We're going for that quick counter. Catch Army on the transition.
In swinging cross. Punched away by Antilio. It's kept inside by Tuloy. Possible counter-attacking opportunity here, but the pass looking for Diaz is just short. They regain it though. And Tuloy have numbers here. Here's Nunez. Switch of play. No offside. Here's Cyril South for his second goal of this match, and it's a really good save once again by Mark Anthony Bedia. He's bailed out his team so many times this afternoon, and he does it yet again. Cyril South could have put them in front.
Look at that confidence from Bedia. Quick reaction save. Another 1v1, a tighter angle there. Bedia does well to come out big.
Interesting that Philippine Army are going to leave Ariola, who's their tallest player, on the halfway line, not to defend the set piece. Corner sent in from Tuloy is very deep. Cyril South controls it with his back, but it goes out for a goal kick. Both sides unable to be really clinical directly from set pieces. Actually, scratch that. I remember Tuloy scored their first goal off a set piece, but it was from a second play of a set piece and not a direct cross. That was Lupango's volley in the first half. Army gonna choose to play out from the back. High pressure from Tuloy, paying off. They win it back. Chance for the third of this match, and it goes just wide from Lupango. Philippine Army dodge a bullet there.
Just a mistake from Villaseñor. Just too many touches. Tuloy putting on the pressure.
And quite smartly, Philippine Army are going to opt this time not to risk it. Celis is going to run onto this one, but it goes out of play. They've been targeting that left-hand side a lot of times in this match. Tuloy braving out to try and play, but again, risk and reward with that type of strategy.
Feel that there's a shift in momentum as well for the side of Tuloy. Scoring in the 55th minute. Do have those fresh legs. It was those add-ons to the team in the second half. Especially likes of Diaz and Nunez.
South combining with John Diaz. Tuloy down the left. Ball finds Diaz. Footwork from Diaz, but the pass is wayward.
But look at the work rate from Nunez. So confident on the 1v1. Once he lost it, he was so quick to win the ball back. That's exactly what you want from your players. Not always going to win the 1v1s.
Ariola, is he offside? According to the linesman, he was onside, but Antilio, again, good goalkeeping. Not the tallest goalkeeper, but with his mobility, he's able to make up for that in other ways.
Feel similar strengths from both Antilio and Bedia, the two goalkeepers, who have been really good in 1v1 situations.
Rizzola has South in the middle. The pass is overhit, but it's gonna find Nunez, and it goes wide. For a moment, I thought that was going to nestle in the back of the net. But Nunez, unable to be clinical. But that was good build-up from Tuloy. The type of build-up that we're used to seeing.
That was a ball from that right-hand side. The pass from Grizola. But it was also good movement from Bedia. He was out of his line. He was able to close it down to make it that much harder for Tuloy to take a shot on target.
Philippine Army are around 30 minutes away from their first points of the season, still at 0 points. Meanwhile, a draw for Tuloy would put them, or will keep them at 8th. They're 6 points safe of 9th. We'll get back to that later. Here comes Ariola with the shots on target, but couldn't get the power. And that's a routine save for Antillo. But as I was saying, Army, or Tuloy rather, they really have that 8th spot locked on because they're not that close to the race that's going on above them, but they're quite safe from the race going on behind them as well. Sapal beginning to dictate the play for Philippine Army. Good work rate from Diaz. Grizola. Through pass looking for Nunez. It's gonna find Nunez. Nunez going for the cross, but it's blocked at its source. Throw into Tuloy. Early cross looking for a Tuloy head. It's gonna find a Tuloy player. Shot taken by Lupango against the post. And out for a goal kick. Nearly getting his second goal of this match.
You could feel that Army are looking a bit shaky at the back. Defenders looking a bit tired. There's a good fake from Lupango. Fakes the defender. Cuts it onto the left side. Made it the tighter angle. Ended up hitting the post.
There's the shot count. Very entertaining match because of how many efforts have been put on by both sides. However, you just start to sense that for Philippine Army, there is some fatigue coming into play now. Again, both of these teams played last weekend, but Tuloy have already made 3 changes, and that's probably why they have a little bit more energy at the moment. Army only making 1 sub so far. A good dummy there. The pass couldn't find Cyril Saud.
So 19 shots for Army, 16 for Tuloy. It's been very entertaining. Open matchup.
Tuloy. With last-ditch defending from Army. Can't get into the opposition half yet though. Here's Celis. Good strength from Celis, and there's an arm in there as well. Referee Abogado just gonna call the foul, but I'm not too sure what punishment he's thinking about. Physical between these two, and there was an arm from Celis. It's quite evident actually.
I feel that the arm came from both players as well.
Celis is still on the ground. And he's gonna need a bit of treatment as well. He's being told to step off the pitch so the game can continue. But he is staying on the pitch. chance maybe for Army to get a breather. You can sense a little bit of tired legs out there. Only one sub has been made. And they're going to be down to 10 for at least 30 seconds as per the protocol.
As you've mentioned, these are the old guards against some young blood. So you know that Tuloy, though they've both played on the weekend coming into this game, Tuloy, of course, making those substitutions, have fresher legs, younger legs on the pitch.
Tuloy have an average age of 20, and that's how young they are. Meanwhile, Army's average age is around 30, a full decade older than Tuloy. But this match is all even so far. Can't tell them with a crucial block. Possession still with Army though. Here's Celis back on the pitch. Couldn't find a forward pass. Has to go backwards for now. Just about 20 minutes and change remaining. 2-2 between these two sides. Again, Diego Cordero and Natasha Alquiros Data calling this one for you. That's an obvious foul from Philippine Army, De Guzman. And again, another Philippine Army player down. Some fatigue settling in.
You feel that for De Guzman, when he couldn't get away with that, he knew that that was going to be a quick transition. So just opting for the foul, slow things down. See a couple of people warming up on the side as well for the side of Army. Feel that they're going to make a couple of substitutions.
Nunez unable to hold on to possession. But those two subs you mentioned, Natasha, have been called back into the dugout. Next break of play could see 2 substitutions for Philippine Army, and it looks like we could use it.
See how effective they've been for Tuloy. It was 2-1 right before halftime in favor of Philippine Army. Tuloy have made 3 substitutions, 2 in the midfield and 1 in the back. And since they've made the substitutions, once they were able to take into effect, they've had a better tempo. They were able to control the midfield more, something that was definitely lacking in the first half, which really went towards the way of Philippine Army.
Coach Taketomo Suzuki thinking about squad rotation for sure. Again, there's another match day coming in the weekend. And Tuloy's next game is actually against one Taguig. It's a very tough game. Army still with possession. Advantage played by the referee. Chance to get forward. Here's Celis. Through pass. He's going to find a teammate. Chance here for the white shirt. Shot taken, but it goes wide. And again, another Army player is down on the deck. But that was a chance actually for Philippine Army. It's going to be Margarce and Toledo who are going to check in.
Player who went down, that was Gumban for the side of Army, receiving treatment on the side.
Substitutions for Philippine Army. Year number 24, Joshua Gatinao.
Gatinao, one of the goal scorers, is going to check out.
23, Boogie Margarce. And
as well as player number 19, De Guzman. By the way, shout out to the YouTube audience at the moment, because believe it or not, Natasha, we're actually at 1,000 viewers at the moment, which is a nice number to see. So shout out to all of you guys watching. Shout out as well to those of you who've been watching all the games Shout out to Fun Rush, Calvisif, of course, PFL Bible, PH Transfers who've been there the entire season. Popsicle as well. Nice to see that a good audience is coming at Wednesday. But here is John Celis. Takes the shot early on. Off the crossbar. It was tipped on by Antilio, I think.
That was definitely a fingertip save by Antilio. Keep this 2-all. Fantastic save. Really goalkeeping heroics on both sides.
Well, when Celis unleashes the strike, I'm sure he's thinking that it's a goal, and that's probably the best save of this match so far from Antilio. Again, not the tallest goalkeeper, but at full stretch there, just enough to keep the score level. What a save that was. First contact there came from Army, I think. I was still checking my stat list. There was another chance there. And with 15 minutes left, either side running out of time to create chances, but Tuloy, lucky they're not behind.
As you mentioned, all throughout this game, it's definitely been open. Both teams really taking on their chances. And we see Army on the attack once again.
Ariola trying to combine with Celis, but Celis unable to be played through. He was offside when it was eventually released. Again, while this match is going on, don't forget we have another match later tonight at 7, Manila Digger versus Don Bosco Gareli United. And then we have another Saturday and Sunday match day this coming weekend, so a lot of action for you fans to enjoy. Of course, the Futsal Liga also this coming weekend to be played at Phil Sports Arena. I'll wait for more announcements from that one. Here's Naughty Nunez through on goal. Open goal, but couldn't find a teammate. Tuloy still with possession. Volley, miss-hit. Actually hit his hand. Both sides having the chances to get that third goal, and any third goal would probably be the dagger as well.
That was a great stop by Villaseñor. The goalkeeper went out, the cross came in, and Villaseñor, important touch. You feel that for these last 15 minutes, as you've mentioned, both teams with that urgency to score a goal. Both teams will be wanting to take home all 3 points. And as the fatigue leads to less structured play, you feel that we're going to be seeing less organized defenses and more mistakes, which means more chances for both sides.
Philippine Army are getting really close to their first point of the whole season. I'm sure some nerves are in those white shirts. For Tuloy naman, on the other hand, they want all 3 points because they already beat Army this season. Oh, really a moment there where Bedia dropped the ball, but he just about gathers it. This should be routine for Talam, and it is. He heads it back to Antilio.
You feel it's also been such a big improvement from the Philippine Army. As we mentioned in the first round, when Philippine Army did go up against Tuloy, it was 6-2 in favor of Tuloy. But now we see Army on the attack once again.
Army couldn't make it stick. Here come Tuloy. Long ball. Couldn't find Cyril Saot. Halike is sitting here right beside us. I'm sure he's thinking he would have loved to be on the end of that. And now it's Army with the build-up.
Definitely a player that's being missed by the Tuloy side. Last time these two teams went against each other, Halike scored a hat-trick. So to miss out on a big matchup like this, it's definitely not a great feeling sitting on the stands.
Here come Tuloy. They have numbers here. No offside. Quite a high line actually from Philippine Army. Taking a risk there this late into the match. This match calling out for a moment of individual magic to take all 3 points. Who is going to provide that magic? Robust play there. Celis winning out. Here come Army. Losing out to Tuloy. Celis going to get on the end of that nearly, but good defending again from Army. This match really stretched at the moment. Absolutely no control. So many challenges going in there. Pure 50-50s, and this might be the game's first yellow card. It is Jesus Abogado. He's going to hand out a yellow card for that 50-50 duel. And it's for the goal scorer. That's Justin Lupango.
Just the pull there by Lupango. The overstretched slide as well. Puts him in the referee's books. Of course, for everyone watching this game, we also encourage you to come on out live as well here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
That's right. You know, if we had 1,100 fans here, it would almost look like a full grandstand, especially in the middle part. Here come Army though. Celis with the cross, looking for a teammate. Could they make contact? That was probably the best chance they've had in a while to get that third goal. Sayang if you're Philippine Army. Again, no points this season, but they have a real chance here.
Celis giving that ball right behind that back line, but in this dangerous area where it was hard for Antillo to be able to come out and receive it. The player on top just couldn't get that contact to really challenge.
Yeah, that was Johnny Toledo who came on as a sub. Probably hasn't adjusted to the pace of the game just yet. Real chance to have the biggest goal yet so far. By the way, while we have 1,000 viewers, let me just promote the Minsan Football Show. No episode this week because of today's match day, but every time, usually, there's a midweek without a match day and an oncoming match day weekend, we usually have that Minsan Football Show where we talk all things Philippine football. And while we're at it, just want to encourage all the fans as well to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, or come to the games yourself. Long shot from Nunez. Goalkeeper Bedia just scrambling for a moment, but it goes well wide. We're actually up to 1,200 viewers now. It keeps going up. Hopefully that match later on at 7 p.m. sees the same amount of viewers. We have Manila Digger against Don Bosco Guerrilla United. A lot of action here in the Rizal Memorial Football Stadium. We have the PFL match day in the middle of the week today. Then we have the matches on the weekend. Then we have the AFC Challenge League taking place here, also in Rizal Memorial Stadium. And Manila Digger announced that for their game, tickets will actually be free. So for those of you who want to watch international football here, go ahead next week.
And of course, as we talked about Philippine Army and Tuloy, this is your local clash. Philippine Army, the armed forces, all Filipino squad, really just testing themselves time and time again. They've been such a big part of the history, and Delia showing his footwork.
Curve turn from Antillo, and it's going to lead to an attack here from Tuloy. Nunez, switch. Tuloy have numbers here, but it's a really good challenge to keep that attack quiet for Tuloy.
Army get the numbers back, but Tuloy on the attack once again, down the middle.
Yes, powerful shot, but any strike that close to the goalkeeper, you'd always favor the goalkeeper to save it. And they go long towards Celis. Talam unable to make the clearance.
There's contact by Celis, but eventually Tuloy able to win it back, and on the attack once again.
Cyril South gets it back. Sapa with a crucial intervention. Siron Saut is going to come onto the pitch in place of Kobuyan. So both Sauts now on the pitch. Tuloy with most of their starters on the field, the most obvious absence being John Lloyd Halike, who's been given the rest.
And if you break it down per half, of course, it was 2-1 in the first half in favor of Army. And in the second half, with Tuloy putting in the usual suspects of Nunez, Diaz, Gamboa, and now Siron Saut, just trying to put themselves in the best chance to be able to score another goal. But Philippine Army making it that much harder for them.
Philippine Army looking a little tired at the moment. Here's Celis trying to combine with Ariola. Ariola back to Celis. Will he get on the end of it? Crucial intervention there from the newly substituted Siron Saot. Tuloy. Pass infield looking for Nunez. Too close to a defender. Great touch there from Bedia. It's Roy Kent Bedia. Of course, we have two on the pitch, the other being the goalkeeper. Ariola dropping back from his forward position, looking for that crossfield pass. He's going to find a teammate. Chance for Army. Shot not yet taken, and it was just one touch too many. Again, that's, I believe, Johnny Toledo. He's had multiple chances now to score the third and most likely game-winning goal.
Again, it's Ariola, the one with the giving those passes, whether it's to the left-hand side or the passes to the right. But now Tuloy on the attack once again.
Chance for Tuloy. Oh, real opportunity wasted. The cross, unable to find anyone. They had numbers there, but Army can't make it stick. Lupango. Oh, pass to Nunez was weak. Still alive though. Shots taken from distance, but it's too close to Mark Anthony Bedia. Both goalkeepers really making a good number of saves, and I'm sure if the game ends in a draw, I'm sure a lot of the credit will go to the two goalkeepers.
Army having the numbers when they are on the defense, and you see it towards the later minutes of this matchup when they attack. It's just 2 to 3 players, but even so, they're still able to create chances up on top.
Great to see. We've gotten even more viewers. We have 1,200 now. For a game between two sides on the lower part of the table, absolutely brilliant to see. But here's Cyril Saut running on to the end of this. Good challenge there by Philippine Army, but you can tell they're just on the ropes a little bit now. Unable to keep possession. It's all Tuloy last few minutes. Diaz resetting things. Toves going out wide left. Early cross, looking for Cyril Saut. Probably not the player you want, jumping for headers. But again, Army just unable to make it stick. Rekent Bedia. And finally, Army just have a little bit of possession to calm things down.
As you mentioned, Tuloy really just coming alive towards the latter part of the second half. And at the moment, Army doing enough to stop them from scoring a third goal.
Army are in a position they haven't been in this season so far, which is getting close to getting points. Oh, but they give it away here. Here's Nunez. Cut back. It's real messy, and somehow Tuloy are unable to turn it in.
You feel Army playing with fire at the back there. They were opting to go short passes in the back. But high press from Tuloy. And that could have been a third goal in favor of Tuloy. Forcing errors in the back. Defensively, players doing enough and Bedia able to collect.
That was a real warning sign for Philippine Army. They could have won this match, but if they walk away with 0 points, they will be really dejected. Oh, great first touch there to escape the pressure. But the following pass unable to match quality earlier on. John Diaz, great awareness to scan for the defender on rushing him. Gamboa, Cyril Saot. He is fouled by number 19, that's De Guzman. Apologies for my mistake earlier on. I mentioned De Guzman coming off. It was actually Renz Gumban coming off. Shout out, by the way, to PH Transfers, who says, let's go the LaSalle Bell on stream, if you can hear it at the moment. So shout out to PH Transfers and PFL Bible for the constant updates in the community, and you'll be hearing from PH Transfers really soon. Free kick to Tuloy. It's going to be Cyril Saot to take this. Really far for an effort on goal, but looking at the way he's standing, actually, it's not out of the question. Cyril Saot does go for goal, but because of the distance, doesn't really trouble Mark Anthony Bedia. 1 minute. Actually, no, just 15 seconds really until the stoppage time is revealed. This will be Tuloy's first points on the board. They are still on 0 points this season. Meanwhile, for Tuloy, a draw would keep them at 8th place. Quite safe from the team in 9th. But they're still quite a way away from the team in 7th. 5 minutes of stoppage time.
5 minutes is a long time. Both teams still capable of taking all 3 points. If you're Army, you'd want to have points, period, by the end of this match. And for Tuloy,
Shot taken from way downtown. That's not going to trouble the goalkeeper.
and if Tuloy, you'd be disappointed. You went against Army in the first round. You beat them with a comfortable 6-2. Coming into the second round, it's 2-2.
Yeah, and Tuloy will probably feel that this is one of their more winnable games. Both of these teams, their next game is against a team in the upper part of the table. So Army will actually face Maharlika, and then Tuloy will face Montague. Cyril Saot has options. Cut back towards Nunez. Cyril Saot. Shot is blocked.
Great defensive hustle from the side of Army. Really had that numbers there. It made it that much harder for the likes of Saot to really get that shot on target, closing the players down.
Three and a half minutes left now. Goalkeeper Mark Anthony Bedia is going to take as much time as possible holding on to this ball. But as far as I'm aware, the rule of goalkeepers only having 8 seconds to hold on to the ball has been added to the PFL. You can see the referee, Jesus Abogado, counting. So it means that rule has been added. A rule that is across world football now. Here's Celis. Doesn't have much support. Holds on to the ball. Celis goes for the cross, looking for Ariola. It's going to find Ariola. Mistake by Toves. Roykent Bedia goes for this long shot. And I think that was going off target, but Antilio wasn't to know that, wasn't to take any risks. He got a touch on it, and it's going to be a corner. And the dying moments of this game.
Dia taking his chances from distance. From the angle, you couldn't be too sure as well. Army have done enough to win a corner. An opportunity to send more players inside the box late into this game.
Probably the last set piece of the whole game. It goes to Philippine Army. Can they score the dagger? Can they take advantage of the set piece? Can they get all 3 points for the first time this season? Tuloy have left 2 players near the halfway line for the possible counter. That's actually how they scored the second equalizing goal.
Sapal with the delivery.
Towards Ariola. And an attempted bicycle kick from Toledo. But the angle didn't favor him at all. He's had chances, Toledo, since coming on. Unable to take any. Probably the best chance came from that switch from Celis that he didn't make contact on. Is there time for Tuloy to build up and create one more chance? Excellent play. But the clearance is made. Still with Tuloy, though. And still Tuloy, and there's a foul there. Last ditch. Probably professional foul just to stop that attack. 1 more minute left. And I said that the last corner was probably the last set piece of this game. It's not. There's going to be a free kick to Tuloy FC.
You felt the panic at the back from Philippine Army when the foul was made. Diving all over the place, but Tuloy able to maneuver their way, keep possession, win a foul right outside the box. This is of good scoring distance for the like of the 2 players on the ball.
You have a left footer and a right footer, Cyril Saot and Noti Nunez, both standing over the ball. Goalkeeper Bedia organizing his wall. He's performed well so far. Noti Nunez takes it, and it goes just wide, and that's probably going to be the last attack of the game. Got it up and over the wall, but couldn't get it on target. Mark Anthony Bedia, the goalkeeper, absolutely tired. He's going to take as much time as possible taking this goal kick. For Tuloy, they'll be disappointed that they couldn't get their second win against Philippine Army, and it ends in a draw for the first time this season. Philippine Army have points on the board. They get 1 point from this match. It's 2-2. Goals from Nico Palacio, Justin Lupango, Joshua Gatenao, and Cyril Saot. It's 2-2 between these two sides. It was a really entertaining encounter. And for the neutral, I'm sure they enjoyed this match.
Philippine Army played great football all throughout. They started the better team in that first half, and the 2 goals were enough to really set them on to the second half to at least earn a draw in this matchup. Bedia had amazing saves, 1v1s where he had to come out big. And the players up on top connecting with the likes of Ariola, finding Palacio, Celis, finding Gatenao. They were able to get those 2 goals. Tuloy, shuffled team, and eventually able to get that second goal in the second half by Cyril Saot. And you feel a rightfully so deserving scoreline for the way both teams have played. As we've mentioned, very open. On moments, they were clinical, that they were able to score. But of course, errors in the back for both teams, and that's why it is 2-2 at the end of this fantastic first fixture between Philippine Army and Tuloy.
Yeah, things to be happy and things for improvement for both sides. I'm sure both sides will go back to the drawing board, but Philippine Army might be the happier of the two because they finally gotten points on board. Again, it was Diego Cordero and Natasha Alquiros Dato calling this one for you. Philippine Army versus Tuloy FC 2-2. But stick around because at 7 p.m. we have Manila Digger against Don Bosco Garele United. Stick around as well for our player of the match interview.
But po sa game, proud naman po ako sa ginawa namin. Kahit po na pagod kami galing biyahe Cebu, at still nagawa pa rin po namin yung best namin na mag-perform na maayos. Kahit na yung iba sa amin injured, may nararamdaman na naayos pa rin namin yung laro namin at yun, ginawa pa rin yung best namin sa lahat.
How do you plan to move forward given the result after the draw?
Siguro po pagbubutihin pa po namin yung training namin and konting sipag pa sa sarili.
Alright, lastly, any message to the fans?
Salamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa amin. Kahit na ano yung performance namin, maraming salamat pa rin sa inyo. Hindi namin kayo bibigyan yung sunod na game namin.
Alright, thank you very much.